Oh, you know I wasn't waiting for this. It's Romania Black, and we're on episode 20 of To Be Hero X, and I am so glad that right when I got done watching episode 19, like the day later, my moderator, Be Happy, was like, hey, I got the comments ready for you to check, and I was like, yes! I was like, you have no idea how excited I am to have to wait at any point in time from that cliffhanger in episode 19 to now, and Crunchyroll has fixed itself. I don't know what deities got all in line, but now the Chinese dub, the Chinese sub is back on, so we're gonna go back to our regularly scheduled program. I guess. But the Japanese sub was fun. The Japanese sub was a lot of fun, but we're back to the dub. And hopefully will be for the rest of the series, because I do like hearing the original dub, and I like Nice's dub voice, so... Anyway, I've got two comments that I want to talk about with you all. First is one from both Moon136U7R as well as Madalam, which was, the only X you haven't mentioned are the ones who were previously X, Mrs. Blazing and Mr. Matchstick, who were a couple. They were mentioned in the Lucky Cyan arc and the Queen arc. I forgot that they were X. I remember that it was like they went out in a blaze of glory because it was like a matchstick and a flame. Imagine that. But I forgot that they were kind of the Moon and Nice prototypes. They were the two that were X first, and then it seemed like Mr. Shang and the Treeman Foundation were attempting to make Nice and Moon into like the newer versions of Mrs. Blazing and Mr. Matchstick. So... But yeah, good to know that they were X too. We don't really know much about them. I'm assuming they probably weren't X for long, and maybe it was like a gimmick because they're a couple. They give me DJ Shindig vibes a little bit, although they seem a little bit more dangerous with the names that they have. And then speaking of Madalam, they had this comment for episode 17 saying, here's a bit of information about Ah Shang's healing ability, which I'm assuming is from the PVs. I will eventually see those, but the mods approved this, so we're going to go with it. Ah Shang has the ability to heal common injuries and accelerate recovery. The downside is it can also rapidly multiply incurable pathogens if they are present in the patient. So here's the thing about cancer. It can develop. It can definitely develop, but there are genetic markers that people have where they are more prone. Like if cancer runs in your family, then you are genetically more prone to get cancer, kind of like heart disease, like high blood pressure, things like that. So if his wife had the genetic markers of a terminal illness and he tried to heal her, it would have made it worse rather than better. And that's the most tragic thing I've heard all week. And I will be going to the corner now to cry. So that was that. I was like, oh my God, that is such a double-edged power. Such a double-edged power. And you don't even think about it. But yeah, what a crazy thing, right? Absolutely insane. So thank you for that. They also noted, because I noticed it's like this fandom. It's like in episode 15... if I said any remote bad thing about Ghostblade, people were like, well, affective disorder, and this is why he's the way he is, and this is everything. And I was like, okay, all right, I feel you. So in episode 17, I was like, Ghostblade, him and little Johnny make a really funny couple, and people were like, Ghostblade's a murderer and the worst person. And I'm like, you all need to make up your minds. But I mean, I get it. It's a polarizing fandom, but Madalam basically got what I was wanting to say, and I have been saying for several episodes. Ghostblade is a morally bad and quite controversial character in To Be Hero X. Though you can like a character without justifying their actions. Preach it to the choir. Preach it to the people in the back. Shout it out to the Greek theater audiences that don't have the acoustics correct. Yeah, I like Ghostblade as a character. Is he my bestie and I'm going to invite him over for Christmas punch? No. But he is probably one of the most well-written characters in this show. He has probably some of the most layers of any character in this show, and he's probably one of the most interesting characters in this show. Sorry, Lucky Cyan, you ain't that interesting to me. But yeah, I'm like, it's okay. We can all like different characters, but I'm not saying that Ghostblade's an amazing little go-getter person, but he's got a lot of problems to him. But I do find a lot of enjoyment at his uncomfortableness around little Johnny. I find it interesting, even though there's like so much morbid terror that's involved with it. We have to enjoy things. So the discourse has been so interesting, and I have a feeling it's going to get even more interesting in this episode. So But thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you for your kind words. If you are over on Patreon, y'all are real ones. Thank you for your patronage support. If you're supporting me on YouTube, I appreciate that. Do your girl a solid. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Most of you on YouTube that were commenting were not subscribed. Not to call any of you out, but you weren't. I just happened to notice. But make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, that you like the videos, and help support a girl out as we get into the final arc of To Be Hero X. I'm pretty dang excited. So, as you can tell, I'm riding an adrenaline high right now. It is way too hot outside. I don't want to be out in that disgustingness, so I am in here getting ready to probably throw up from all the adrenaline and everything with this episode, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. So, anyway, we're gonna get started with episode 20 of To Be Hero X. Oh my god! Okay, so guess what? I went to go start the episode, and it does have the Chinese dub, but Crunchyroll doesn't have any English subtitles. What are you doing, Crunchyroll? Why are you making my day the worst? Anyway, we're gonna restart it with the Japanese subs. With the English subtitles. It's gonna be alright. And we're gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh my god! That was probably the most intense episode yet. I thought episode 19 was crazy. No, that did not go the way I thought it was gonna go. I mean, we knew that Big Johnny was going to become huge and that was going to get Queen and Cyan's attention, but did not see it going the way that it ended up going. I have so many questions, so many theories. I'm going to be positing a lot of theories because we're on year 39 is where this is happening. This is 2 years in the past from the current timeline with Lin Ling and all that. So I have so many thoughts. I have lots of questions, I have lots of theories, and lots of observations and things I want to point out as we go through this episode. And if I am wrong on those theories and observations, you all know as well as I do, the show will correct me, and I'll be like, oh, but there are some things that I'm like, okay, we got some exposition, we got some answers, but it's setting up things for the future, for now. So, okay, we do need to settle like a couple things. So one thing is that in the year 41, it is still X who is in charge. And I'm putting X in quotation marks because we don't know the name of this hero that has taken this mantle for 3 years running. He's still going to be in have the mantle 3 years running. So X is still in charge. We know that. Nice. We're going to have a Calamity Corner moment for that. Nice was around and was still in the top 10 as of that. And we know that E-Soul is still around. We know that that is still a thing. Ghostblade left. So one thing to note up here is that Ghostblade left Mighty Glory. Now, as to what Ghostblade is doing now, that's a big old question mark. We know that No makes me so sad. No makes me so sad that she's in a coma. She could still be in a coma. Who knows? That makes me so sad. I hate that. And that he just got connected back with her and then wasn't able to connect any further. That makes me so mad. But yeah, so we know that No is in a coma. Man, Lee Howlin, you know what? I know you're not burying all the gays, but you're getting pretty damn close to it. Why do we have to have Doomed Yuri and Doomed Yowie all in the same timeline? Come on, Lee Howlin, let them have one good timeline. I guess, is Mickey the good timeline? Is Mickey the good Yowie? Are him and Liu the old man Yowie that made it? What? We're gonna talk about it. How dare you? So, Nono's in a coma. Of course, Professor Lowe is dead. R.I.P. That makes me really sad. He had death flags on him for sure. He did not go out the way I thought he would, though. With these fear monsters, we're gonna talk about them. So yeah, E-Soul is still around. As far as we know, Big Johnny and Little Johnny are still around. We're gonna talk about that. And then the things that we don't know is that I'm going to put these over in the mystery category box. As far as we know, Lucky Cyan and Queen, especially Queen, we don't really know a lot on that front with them. We don't know about them at this moment. And then Moon hadn't come along yet. She was about to come along. And then that was going to be everybody's obsession at that point. But then as far as Rock goes, Rock is with this mystery person plotting something, which we're going to see how that goes down. But okay. And then one thing that I did want to notice is that in all of this, Lin Ling, our sweet protagonist who hasn't made an appearance in like 16 episodes, Lin Ling had made note that there were fear values. There were fear values that were increasing across there. So whatever Mickey and, his dastardly quartet has been planning has been accelerated in the time since then. So we're setting up some things that are quite intriguing. We're setting up some different things behind the scenes, and I'm like, okay, but we need to talk about nice. We need to talk about nice in all of this. And so I'm going to put nice over here. We're going to put nice over here, I guess. And here in 3, 2, 1, I need a lot of room. So I'm going to put nice over here. We're going to put nice right here. And we're going to save him a little spot in the Calamity Corner with Isol. Y'all know how I am. We're going to save them a little spot that we're going to come back to. But yeah, nice, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect. A.k.a. Mr. Perfect. We need backstory on Nice. We just need backstory on Nice. That's all we need at this point. Because him committing suicide now makes a lot more sense. I'll tell you that much. And from this, the thing is, like, Shang has created, as far as we know, we're assuming that he was the guy that was the friend of Rek. And they became like a duo together. And he absolutely hated his circle. He hated life once he became a hero because he couldn't escape it. It's like he signed up to be Shang's perfect hero, and then he fell into the brief, and then once he was there, he couldn't get out of it, and he couldn't be with the guy that he loved. He was forced to be with a woman that he didn't love, and then it was all just too much, and so he took his own life. So he took his life, and then it ended up transferring over to Lin Ling, who fortunately got away from it as the commoner now. So good for him. Good for Lin Ling. But yeah, you can just tell that Nice does not like what he's having to do. I feel like this is the beginning of a new tower or a new place because, yeah, it's not, like, what is the image there when he walks in? Because, yeah, they're building this new building. I guess that's where Miss J was at the beginning of the series, right? Isn't that right? And then as he's going up the elevator, they're talking about the newest update on the perfect hero, Mr. Nice, who's, according to Expert Base, he might reach the top 10 rankings next year. And then he just destroys the TV. That one action alone, and then he's just like, like, because he's forced to be. The idea that he's forced to be perfect. And develops like the OCD and develops all these other things to go along with his personality when things aren't perfect. It's like, you could see why it would completely deteriorate him. But I want to know backstory. I need to know, like, what has Shang done to this man to make him how he is? Because when he opens the door, he's just like, he gets mad. But then in that moment, he's just like, everything's fine. But everything's not fine. He puts on the smiley face, but it's forced. Like, he is forced to be nice. And he's actually not. He's actually a monster. But I feel like he wasn't a monster to begin with because him and Rek were just like college bros. So I need all of the backstory on Nice. But I don't know if we're going to get that. And then Shang, meanwhile, is up there. It feels totally different seeing the scale model of the place. So this is where the Treeman Foundation is going to be, correct? These buildings appear to be structurally finished, so I look forward to the day they're completed. Also, want to talk about the X Plaza in the background there with Nice looking like freaking Jesus with the T-pose. That's not subtle. And it's right next door to the X Plaza. Interesting. And he's like, tomorrow Miss J is going to be handling your affairs. And he's like, well, why? He's like, I've been nurtured by you personally from the beginning. So him and Shang have had this relationship. Shang is not exactly what I would call of joy and joyous ray of sunshine. So I don't know how working with him has been. I can imagine it probably wasn't great. So what are we going to get out of that? Like, I need his backstory. I need so much. He's like, your hero play is nearing the end of its performance. And then the move that he did as he jumped off the building being right there. So Shang is setting up everything. Like, Shang was setting up being like, you're about to be obsolete. Like, basically everything you've sacrificed, you know, your relationship with Rek, everything about you, your autonomy, everything you sacrificed is about to be for nothing because they're about to do X, Y, and Z. I felt like I asked last episode why Nice would go through with killing people. This is the answer to that question. Mr. Shang's like, well, everything that we've been working on is going to be obsolete here soon because, you know, these people are doing these excavation things. And, you know, if they succeed in it, then everything you're going to be doing is a complete waste of time and you will cease to be an individual person anymore. But that's fine. You know, he's like, I'm washing my hands of it. It doesn't affect me. It just affects you. That manipulation and persuasion is highly effective, especially when that person, you know, has so much riding on it. I don't want to waste time on things that have no value. That says a lot. So, Mr. Shang, we're going to put him over here. Mr. Shang only places time on things of value. I would like to think that Mr. Shang was nicer before his son died, but I don't think he was, because he was asking Ghostblade to murder people. Like, he's the one that put the hit out on Shang before he left Mighty Glory and Rock took over. So, no, he's not been great. He's not been nice from the start. I think his son dying just cemented that. He's like, but my popularity's growing. And he's like, I've got a chance to make the top 10 this year. And he's like, your perfect persona was an illusion I created using fear. That line alone, I was like, okay, wait, backtrack. Go back, explain all of that, please. Like, Nice knows about fear. Nice knows about all these things. What? So, he had an illusion of perfection based on fear. And that is what Nice is. So, I mean, I guess, you know, Nice being a hero who's perfect was created to save people by creating this illusion that there's nothing to fear because Nice is perfect. He's here, he'll save the day, he can do no wrong. Okay. Yeah, and then the commission has found a new lead on fear suppression research. I love that you see the sign that he makes before he dies. That's crazy. Okay. Also, the back of Nice's cape kind of looks like Big Johnny, like the little Johnny's little thing there. Interesting. He's like, the commission has found this way to suppress fear. Fear will be eliminated in the near future. And heroes, along with the trust values, will be a thing of the past. So basically what he's saying, he's like, if you don't go do this thing for me, and you don't stop this mission, you don't kill everybody involved, then there's not going to be any trust or fear, and you won't have to exist anymore. How does that sound? And then he's like, oh, well, I know what to do, Mr. Shand. Saying it with a smile. And then that look right there, that is the most terrifying look of the whole damn show so far. No, that, seeing Mr. Shang smile, nope. That is horrifying. He's like, okay, we're on the same level. We get it. Why does he look so much like X? Why does he look so much like the guy that is X? That's throwing me off. Because for a while, I thought he was X. I thought for a long time that he was X. But I don't think he is now. So I'm like, I don't know. But he kind of looks similar to him. I'm going to take a picture of that, and then we're going to pull it up and see if we can get a comparison like towards the end of the episode. We'll see. But yeah, and then that shot there of when, like, as it's closing, you see like, oh, that shot as he's smiling to Mr. Shang being like, I know what to do. And then as it closes, his eye opens up and he looks so melancholy and somber, like he doesn't want to do this, but like their lives are both effed. Oh my God. Also, he kind of looks like X. I thought he kind of looked like X from the beginning as well. That's wild. So, This episode is called The Ruins Incident, which is what it's categorized as. I cannot believe that he was there the whole time. That he was there from the start. Like he was roaming around from the start in there. In the shadows. Like a freaking monster. That is terrifying. Just hiding where he was. And he was going to go down there and maybe attack Lo and them, but then he saw Ghostblade. And was like, no, I'm going to hang off and hold on for a second. That is wild. I can't believe he was there the whole time. Like we saw that shot last episode from a different angle and he was there from the beginning. Oh my God. Nope. So then he roamed around right to where he got to Lo and them. That's crazy. I know you'll handle this with the utmost perfection. Oh my gosh. I need to know why Nice has like his balls held in the hand of Mr. Shang. I need to know why. I need Nice backstory. We started out with Nice just being like the perfect Mr. Hero, like a Ken doll, and now he's a terrifying monster, and I need backstory. I need to know why that is, because that is horrifying. Because yeah, the moment the light shines, he's like, nice. Like, that's crazy. Nope. And then Lo Li shows up, and she's like, I can fight him because I have this armor. Yeah, danger! Warning, danger! That is insane! That is horrifying! No, thank you! Oh my God, that is terrifying. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna skip the intro. I know people want me to watch the intro. At this point, I want to wait till the end. I've waited this long. We might as well wait till the series is over to watch it. But, So yeah, Nice versus Lo Li. That battle was great. The end part, like when she started really struggling against him, we're going to talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, so they were fighting throughout. That's just so, why is he's so terrifying. No, I honestly, this makes me feel so happy that Lin Ling is not Nice anymore. Like that, now that we see in hindsight how terrifying this man is, I am so glad that Lin Ling is the commoner and is not Nice. Because no, could not have that. Absolutely not. I'm like, that's actually horrifying. I'm glad that he doesn't have to hold on to that legacy anymore. That's really good. Also, Nice has a couple of targets on his back, so I'm glad that, Lin Ling doesn't have to be him anymore. So, okay, also one thing to make note of. Isol, you would think for a second that maybe Isol is jealous of Nice because Nice bumped him down a few spots in the hero rankings, and that's all he's obsessed with is being the number one hero and being X. You would think he'd be jealous of Nice, and maybe that would be motivation for him hurting Moon. But it's not, because he found out during the whole episode 4 thing that Lin Ling is not actually Nice. The real Nice died, and he just took his place. So there's that. That's so crazy. So yeah, I did love this moment where Lo Li asks her father to trust her. She's like, trust me, I know how this armor works. I know how this is going to be. I can do this. You take no and run, and I've got this. That breaks my heart because on the one level, her dad finally trusted her and let her go and do things on her own, which is so wonderful and like top notch. But then 2, because she let them go away from her sight, they both her dad ends up getting killed. No ends up getting critically injured. And it was basically because she said for them to go. And she knows that. And that just adds to it. And I'm like, oh, that's just such a gut punch. Yeah. But Nice gonna get out of this. Look, I feel as if we are really missing the mark on this. Because, look, we all know that Nice and Rek were a thing. We all know that Nice did not want to be with Moon. We all know that Lo Li and No were a thing. You two should be, like, the forefront of the queer community. You should not be fighting each other. Just, happy Pride Month. Like, during my Pride, it's July now as I'm recording this. During my Pride, you two, really? This is what happens when heteronormativity gets in the way. But yeah, this is all, his power's gonna be whittled away. I like that her dad said, don't act tough, but that's what ends up giving her more strength. She's like, his power is gonna be whittled away by the armor I'm wearing. I can handle him. He's still a ranked hero of the commission, though. And that's when No is like, why is a hero fighting us? Here's the scary part. Lo and No figured it out. They saw everything. And the two people who knew the most and saw Nice be the worst are out of the picture. So here's the thing. The only one that really knows Nice's true colors is Lo Lee. She's the only one that knows that Nice is actually evil. She's the only one that knows that. No is in a coma. Her dad is dead. Little Johnny and Ghostblade were not aware of that. They were too busy fighting Isol. Isol may know that. I'm sure Rock has told him that, though, so he's not surprised. So I'm going to get back to Lo Lee. But yeah, and they're like, there's one more thing. We want Glimmerlab to develop a way to suppress fear and suppress the trust value. So they brought this up. They're like, the whole point, the commission has said, the commission has made this a priority. Their whole thing is that their goal is to suppress fear and trust. That's their whole goal, because if they can do that, then they can control basically society. Because they can determine, we talked about this in a previous episode earlier on in the series, they can control who gets to be heroes, who gets to be villains, how this works, if they can control the trust value and suppress it. So that's what they said that has been their goal. That's the reason the commission was founded. Which, okay, if back at the beginning in year 0, the year the commission was founded, trust and fear became this big ordeal, this big thing, then I could understand why the commission was like, oh, we need to find a way to do something with this. But it's clearly gotten out of hand. It's clearly become corrupt. So then the question is, year 0, is year 0 with the commission? I like that we're talking about 0. We're going to talk about 0. Year 0 with the commission. Is it the year that heroes formed? Or is it the year that 0 killed the other hero and the commission may be formed? We don't have that completely set down yet. I feel like we're going to find out by the end of it a little bit more into the timeline, because we're starting to get more exposition about that, especially with Rock. Oh my god. Okay, can we talk about how Da Zhang? This was not necessary. This was not necessary for Da Zhang to die that horribly brutal death. That felt like a hate crime. That was terrible. Oh my god, Da Zhang did not have to suffer the way that he did. Like, that guy just kept beating him over the head. What in the hell? Then we had these guys in the suits. So the guys in the suit, which granted, now No, even if No gets out of her coma, that girl is going to be straight up traumatized. She witnessed the brutal death of her friend, and she witnessed the death of her friend's dad, and then she was attacked. That girl's gonna be messed up. Oh my god. And then we had the guys there in the suits. There's like a bunch of them that show up, and they all are based off of this guy. Like, I feel like they're all from this guy. So the soldiers, we're gonna say Shang's soldiers, are all like based on fear and a fusion of like these 3 guys. How does that work? What is going on? Are they just men that have been pumped through fear, pumped with fear like with these guys? How is that happening? Or are these even connected? There was a fadeaway, so you would think they'd be connected, but how does that work? Are they all forming these soldiers? Shang, explain yourself. Okay, and it's the shop that was his son's. It was the shop he gave his son. That's where he's been at. Shang fascinates me to no end. He is horrible, but I want to know more. Then he gets a call from Mickey. I would like to imagine that his ringtone is, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. And he's like, hey, let's have a drink. And he's like, sorry, I'm straight. I have no doubt in my mind that Mr. Shang is 100% heterosexual. And I have no doubt in my mind that Mickey is 100% not homosexual, not heterosexual. So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm very busy. And Mickey's like, don't be a homophobe. Get in my car. So he's like, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. And by not take up too much of your time, I mean we're going to have some highballs together. Hope you're ready. So, oh my God. Mickey's like, look, who am I to say that liquors are categorized by sexuality? Who am I to say? I'm not trying to say, look, I partake in whiskey. Does that make me gay? No, it does not. But I just want to make note of the fact that Mickey got a whiskey on the rocks for his friend Shang while him and Liu were sipping down Cosmos. I'm just saying that there is a difference. And maybe Mr. Liu likes Cosmos. Maybe Mickey also has an alcohol problem. Our man's an alcoholic. This line too, whenever he's like, what do you think this is? First the stick and now the carrot. I'm like, look, if anybody knows about sticks and carrots, it's Mickey. Mickey knows. He knows all about them. But yes, he's like, the survey mission is actually looking for the key material for suppressing fear. Which I think Shang knows about already. He's not telling him anything he doesn't know. Because, yeah, when he says here, he's like, I'm not listening. When he's like, all your hard work could go down the drain. So Mickey is trying to assert some dominance in all this, like he do. So you have Mickey over here. Mickey knows pretty much the same thing that Shang does. They're both kind of in the know. They've both been dealing with fear. They have been looking into fear, him along with Liu, as ways to be used against the commission. Like, they're both in on it. And that's when Shang's like, look, I have no interest. I already know everything you're going to tell me. And that's when Mickey's like, look, the real carrot is that we could take down Rock. Because I know you don't like Rock. I have a feeling that it's more than just the fact that his son died I have a feeling it's more to it than just the fact that his son died. I think there's more to it than that. Because they both hate Rock. They both hate Rock for different reasons. I think that Mickey just sees Rock as competition, and he doesn't like that. I think Shang not only sees him as competition, but he knows that he was kind of responsible for his son's death. And he also took over the business that he used to run. So I'm sure there's a lot of resentful feelings there. So getting rid of him would be, really nice. He's like, Ghostblade is the one in charge of the Glimmer Lab mission. If the mission fails, the fear value research will be halted. And MG's reputation will also tank. Look at this man! Look at his shit-eating grin. Look at how proud Mickey is. Mickey's like, I have the perfect plan. And it's all going according to it. Like, look at this, Mr. Shang. And yeah. And he's like, this is 2 birds in 1 stone. And then he's like, Rock, as MG CEO, will have to take responsibility. And they do the close-up of the flower that Mr. Shang has wore since his son died to clue us in that, Shang wants Rock to suffer. For sure. He'll have to take responsibility. And then he's like, well, you want to use me and reap the benefits without having to do anything. And Mickey's like, well, me? Do that? Do I seem like that? God, I love the expressions they give Mickey. I love the way they animate him. Do I like him as a person? God, no. I want him to suffer. But he is one of those characters you love to loathe. He's just so much fun to just not like him. He's so much fun to not like. He's like, you think so little of me. He's like, businessmen are particular about win-win situations and mutual benefit. And so Shang's like, God damn it, I'm going to drink with the devil here. Also, this entire bar scene was giving me everything about this, the way that the lighting was and the way the lighting was reflecting off Mickey's glasses. It reminded me of The Shining. It reminded me of Jack Nicholson getting tempted by the devils that are the bartenders. That's definitely feels like a reference. Also, though, if you notice, I don't know if you did notice in this scene, but there is a clear divide between Shang and Mickey. The bar is in between the two of them, meaning that there is no sexual interactions between the two of them. But symbolically, if you notice, Liu and him, there's nothing in between them. So you do with that with what you will. I will analyze Mickey's sexuality and his sexual encounters with Liu throughout this entire series if I have to, for research purposes. How do you propose we work together? So then we get back to Lo Li versus Nice. And God, that fight was just... it's not my favorite part of the fight yet. We're getting to that. So she asks little Johnny, she's like, hey, where are you? Come help quick. Meanwhile, Ghostblade and Isol are fighting tooth and nail. These two people working for the same hero commission, by the way. That's not good when he ends up punching him right in the chest. Yeah, that's not good. No, Ghostblade took a hit. At least he lived through it. I thought Ghostblade was going to die this episode. I'm not going to lie. So, okay. So, we see the bombs. We see the boomerang. We see a bag of bubblegum flavored chips, which I am going to judge. I am going to judge little Johnny for. That's gross. And we see Lucky Cyan's charms. Okay. I said back in episode 10, I said back when I was watching episode 10, that if there comes a time that I will give Lucky Cyan her flowers, and I will give the Arc its flowers, I will do that. I am going to do that this episode. So those of you that like the Lucky Cyan arc, I'm gonna tie back to that. And one of the things is the callback with the badge. I like that call. Now, that was during the Queen arc when that was given to him. But I do like the callback to the badge. I do like that it didn't conduct electricity because it's Lucky Cyan. And I like the fact that him wearing it helped to save his life. That was really cool. And the boomerang. I'm glad he uses the boomerang that his dad had. That's a really cool callback. I love that. It managed to do something to Darth Esol. And then Ghostblade, damn. The thing is, him slicing that, and his mask gets hit. The fact that he slices through Esol's hand and Esol just does not even care. Like, it's like that man, he's more, was Obi-Wan quote, he's more machine than man now. Which is true. Also, damn, Ghostblade did not age at all. But because he's touching the metal and then the electricity he basically gets electrocuted, which sucks for Ghostblade. So, removing the source of the alien material, we go back to Mickey and Shang, and eliminating Lo and his team with the two media companies we own. It'll be a walk in the park to push everything on MG. So the plan is that we are going to eliminate everyone there, eliminate all there. So that's step one. And then we're going to use our social media teams to run everything against Mighty Glory, which we've had some foreshadowing to, because Mighty Glory did that during the Esol arc. He was getting everybody to support Esol using his social media prowess, and these guys are like, well, it's 2 against 1, we should be fine. I love the way that Shang is animated in this moment. I don't know why, but the way his brow is furrowed and the bags under his eyes, there's just something about it I really love. He's like, Ghostblade himself won't be enough to convince the people that it's MG's responsibility alone. There's something really there's ennui in that expression and a lot of remorse. I like it. And not Ghostblade's personal responsibility. So then Mickey brings up this. I don't know what the point of bringing this up is. I don't know what this has to do with what Shang just said, because I don't think it has anything to do with Ghostblade, but he says Rock's father. So Rock's father is Yan Fong. Is his father. Okay. And Yan Fong, isn't Yan Chong, isn't that, or is that Lon, what was Esol's original name? He created Zero. Okay, so Rock's father created Zero. Again, what does this have to do with what Mr. Shang was concerned about? I don't know. I'm going to look up real quick. I just want to know, Esol... Oh, Yang Chong. So not Yan. Not Yan. There we go. Different names. All right. Zero was the world's first hero. Okay, so we have a picture here on the tablet. I guess that's supposed to be Rock, isn't it? Of course they blur out his face. Damn it, of course they blur out his face where you can't see it, what Zero looks like. Zero was the world's first hero, but he has the cape. He has the cape nice. And he has a white and pink or red pattern with it. Curious. But yeah, Rock is a kid there. Okay, so again, 39 years ago, if Rock is almost 50, which he looks almost 50, and he's 10 in that picture, that would check out. Okay, so he became the world's first hero. And the only person to have touched godhood. Okay. So Zero was the first hero. And he touched, that's their phrase, he touched godhood. Meaning he was basically like overpowered, basically like a deity. He said he created him as a hero, but my theory is, now we have a name, my theory is that Zero, well, is Zero X? Is Zero the current X? Because here's my thing. If, like, the way that the armor and stuff is on him, it almost looks a little bit like Loli's, kind of, the way that his armor is. My thing is, I've had this theory that X, current X, is maybe one of the aliens from the spaceship, because he seems to be able to overpower the heroes instantly, and if he's an alien directly from the spaceship, and Big Johnny has abilities that allow him to overpower the fear and trust values, then that would make sense. So, but the way this is timed, what if Zero was like from one of those pods, and Rock's father Yon Fong found the spaceship, found the pod with Zero in it, and decided to like make him a hero, being like, hey, you're here on Earth now, be this hero. Or maybe he lost his memories. I don't know. He's the pinnacle of human potential and represents omnipotence and was worshipped by the world. So yeah, because here's the thing. If you were the first hero, then yeah, if you were the only hero, you would be like Superman. Everybody would be like, oh my God, save us, Superman. You're a hero. We worship you. Like all this stuff. Basically treating him like Jesus. People granted Zero trust in the hope he could protect everyone. And so then they said that at that moment, fear began because he killed a hero. But they said he killed a hero. He was worshipped by the world until he accidentally killed a hero. Okay, so he was the first hero. So I'm getting my ducks in a row here. We have Zero was the first hero. And then there were others that followed, because I'm assuming this alien spaceship and the trust values affected the world, or affected Japan basically, and allowed them to start creating heroes. So he became the first hero, and he was number 1, or the first X, until he killed another hero. Now it says on accident, I'm going to put accident in quotation marks. How do you accidentally kill another hero? How does that work? So we need to find out about that. We need Zero's backstory. And so then everyone got afraid. And okay, I love that you can see that the hand there is it's not real. That hand with Easel is just fake. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my God. Well, that's terrifying. So he accidentally killed a hero and everything changed. People granted Zero trust in the hope he would protect everyone. And at that moment, fear began. So I think it's crazy. I don't recall Young Chung losing his arm, so that's wild. It only takes a minute for trust to become fear, and fear spread even faster and farther than trust. In order to stop Zero, who lost control, the world's heroes banded together to oppose him. So then after he accidentally killed, he apparently lost control. I don't know how that works, but maybe we'll find out. And all the other heroes stopped him. I'm assuming by stopped him, they meant killed him? So he killed Zero, supposedly? They ultimately succeeded in defeating him, but the fear brought about by Zero dug deep in the hearts of every person, unable to be erased. They wanted to let the memory fade, but it's too bad. A dormant volcano needs only a single spark to erupt again. Now, okay, that's crazy. There is like this shrine that Rock has to Zero, and there's a big ol' eye with him like doing the nice T-pose in there. I would imagine that Shang was trying to create like a Zero 2.0, like another perfect hero. He wanted to create, I feel like Shang's whole thing is that he wanted to create his own god, quote unquote. If Hero was the god of the heroes, he wanted to create like 2.0, and Nice was that 2.0 that he had. And so he was cultivating Nice to kind of be like the image of Zero, but be different and be perfect. I want to know what this thing is, because there's an eyeball there, and inside the eyeball is the hero doing that. And then there's like all of this stuff surrounding it and all of these things pointing at it, like swords pointing at it. I need more. I need more. I need to know more. And what is Rock doing? Is he like, is it a shrine? Is he trying to like pray to him? Like, what is happening? Rock wants to follow in his father's footsteps. And then Mickey says every person has something they want to obtain at all costs. So I love Mickey's idea of what will you sacrifice at any cost. And for Rock, he talks about like he wants glory like his father. He wants to be able to do what his father did and create the ultimate like hero, like a god. Okay. Then we have desires. So we cut to Nice, and Nice has desires. So what would you do to get anything at all costs? Well, if it was desires for Nice, then he would sacrifice his relationship with Rec to be like the top hero, to get like, to be considered perfect, to get everything, to get the glory and everything. Those are his desires. And he would, you know, sacrifice everything to get them. And then we have obsessions. Obsessions is perfect for Isol. Isol is obsessed with being number one. So Isol, obsessions, that makes sense, like that. Then you had Liu watching where Queen is, and that's ideals. So with ideals, we have Liu. So Liu is willing at all costs to sacrifice everything so long that his ideals about the Hero Society and everything can be seen through. I love Shang's. Shang's is just hatred. I love it. So Shang's being hatred. He would do it, like the idea that he hates Hero Society and he wants to burn it all down, and he would do it at any cost. That hatred, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to resurrect you, Zero. Well, how the hell is he going to resurrect him? Doing what? But how? How's that going to happen? Meanwhile, while all that's going down, no matter how clever, what tricks you use, I'll still counter them perfectly. Maybe Nice's desire was to be perfect. And Shang is like, I can do that for you. But it was like a deal with the devil. At what cost do you become perfect? Anyway, she causes like this collapse to go, and then she goes to find her dad. And then the moment, also want to point out, the hole in the ship looks exactly like the eye that Zero is in. That's crazy. That's crazy. But then she sees, yeah, while they're being attacked, yep, she sees that it's her dad has been stabbed and No is unconscious. Ugh. I hate that. I hate that so much. Ugh. Oh, it's bad. And Lo Li freaking out and losing it. I love that Lo Li, because she's wearing the armor. My assumption was because she's wearing the armor is made from the alien materials, so it connects to Big Johnny, so he can sense her emotions. And either Big Johnny got really pissed and did it on his own, or he sensed Lo Li's emotions, and it was like a catalyst to help him transform into his big version. Either way, Lo Li freaks out, and I don't blame her. Like, if I saw my dad get killed in front of me and the woman I loved being, like, about to be killed too, I would freak out as well. I would freak out as well. And she just, like, I love how gritty she looks, and she does not look cute. And that's the point. She's just, like, showing her strength in that moment, fighting all these guys, and she just beats the shit out of them. Like, just tears them all apart. Ugh. It's, like, visceral. And the thing is, I loved this fight with her. Like, she was, like, just dirty and ugly, and Nice was not perfect. And it was just the choreography and how gritty and grim it was. It was just dirty. It felt like looking at humanity fighting at its rawest. Because, like, as she starts to lose the armor, like, it just felt like just humans fighting humans at this point. And all these, like, primal raw emotions are just laid bare. Ugh. And then as that's going on, as Isol is about to kill Little Johnny and Ghostblade, and Big Johnny comes up and is attacking, as all that is about to go down, who shows up in her Louboutins? looking fly as hell, being an absolute mad dash queen, but our bitch queen herself. Now here's my question. God, I love her ability. I love everything about her. Queen, outfit, everything. Love her. She can do no wrong. So cool. Love to see her in action here. Did Mickey... Here's my question. Mickey sent her to the site where it was all going down. He sent her there. If he was wanting to blame this on Mighty Glory and Rock, like, Mickey knows her abilities. Like, why send her there knowing she could have stopped the whole procedure from going down? How does that work? Like, why would he send her there knowing that she could stop it all? I guess maybe he sent her there thinking that all the damage would be done by the time she showed up. But, well, here's the thing. She was around that area. Maybe, honestly, if they hadn't seen Big Johnny, then she wouldn't have known to show up, right? So that's kind of the interesting part. I guess, I don't know if Mickey planned on her and Lucky Cyan showing up. I don't think maybe they did, but they may not have ran into this whole experience if they hadn't noticed Big Johnny. So maybe he was just doing that to Liu, being like, I'm sending your daughter around the area, don't get any ideas, or she could get pushed into the fray. But then she does. And damn, the moment she walks by nice, that look she gives him, she's like, bitch, there can only be one white-haired character in this phrase, and it ain't you. Oh my God, she's like, I know what you are. And then her walking past Isol, and you can't even see what Isol's face is, but, and I love that she goes up to Big Johnny and knows who he is, and convinces him, she's like, it's me. I freaking love Queen. She's so badass. I would cosplay her in a heartbeat, but she's just got too many layers on. She'd be too hot to walk around in all them layers. But yeah, so then Lucky Cyan comes out. I'm actually really glad that they both are safe in all this. Lucky Cyan and her damn Heelys. Okay, I will give the show its flowers. I thought the yo-yo was stupid back in episode 10. I thought it was just an afterthought. It had a significant purpose in this episode, and I appreciated it. and the spray paint, too, had a usefulness. It gave the little barrier, like a little witching circle of salt around Ghostblade and Little Johnny. It protected them. I will give the show its flowers. I liked the callback. I thought it was very clever. And I thought Lucky Cyan, like look at these two. I guess Lowly and No-No had to suffer so that Queen and Lucky Cyan could thrive. I guess Lee Howling gave us that. I guess he gave us that couple. I'll take it. I'll take it at this point. But yeah, I love them working together. It was perfect. So then Little Johnny's like, hey, I'm going to be okay. I thought for a second that he's like, oh, I got your charm. And that's what saved me. I thought for a second he was going to confess to her. And he's like, how's Ghostblade? And he's like, oh, well, he's still alive, but he's really injured. And he's like, well, after we get back, for a second I thought he was going to confess to her. And I'm like, dude, she is with someone else. Also, Calamity, F his drag. He's like, when we get back, I'm going to train really hard with you and Queen to become strong like you too. Uh-huh. So then we have the epilogue, which I really feel for Loli. I really feel for her. My thing is, like, what is she doing now? So Lo Tong, I guess she's going back with her mom. But as she's in the car, she looks at her phone, right? And it says Mechanical Female Warrior Loli. It says a new hero. Do not be defined by appearance. You can be yourself, from FOMO. So she got hired on to FOMO. Okay, I think she was already in FOMO. But so Loli is with FOMO, that is alongside Little Johnny and Big Johnny. All right. Well, at least they can keep each other company. At least they got each other, right? But she doesn't look happy there at all. And that's her mom, like, driving her away. And then Ghostblade, he resigns from Mighty Glory. I think it says a lot that he resigns from Mighty Glory and Rock isn't even there. Rock doesn't even care. He doesn't even see the need to see him face to face. Probably because he knows Ghostblade would like shove a knife through his face because he knows exactly what he did. Damn. Okay, yep. And said Ghostblade announces his withdrawal from Mighty Glory. Does this move mean a farewell to his heroic career? The reasons behind this sparked heated debate. So I guess he went out of the limelight. I'm not surprised. Okay, and then Ghostblade's walking through town there. I love that nobody recognizes him. He's literally, everybody's looking down at their phones, which is something in itself, but nobody even recognizes him without the mask on. Interesting. And then he gets the flowers for No-No. Ugh. And then there's the mom. I mean, regardless of what I think about the mom, I don't think that she deserves to see her daughter like that. And the worst part about it is that he can't talk to her. She's going to blame him for everything that happened because she was there and he couldn't protect her. So that situation just sucks. He brought her the flowers and they're left in the chair. But like, he can't talk to his former wife because what can he say? Nothing's going to matter. And he can't talk to his daughter. Like, that whole situation just is awful. That sucks. Yep. Meanwhile, Queen and Lucky Cyan, they're both like, and we are in a committed relationship. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. And then, man, look at Liu! Liu's pleased as punch. She's like, look at my daughter go. Look at her go. Although we have no clue 2 years later where that ends up going. But look how happy he is. This is the happiest we've seen him in the whole damn show. So, Cyan and Queen, they're out there making statements and rising up through the ranks. And Liu is pleased as punch. And Mickey's probably going to take the credit and be like, see, I knew it was going to happen. But yeah, then there's all these debates about what's going on. And then this hero, it says Hero 7. Hero 7, me. There's like a thing there. There's a little Johnny book. There's like, the guy looks like Benjamin Franklin. Oh my God, look up there in the top corner. It looks like Nice and Wreck against each other. I hate that. I hate that so much. Damn it. And then there's like another hero there with like claws and everything. What is that? What is that? Oh my God. Future star. And then there's little Johnny versus E-Soul. Mickey's pleased as punch. He's happy. And him and Zach are together being like, let's go take down Rock together. So yeah, Mickey, Mr. Shang, Mr. Zach, because Mr. Zach doesn't like Mr. Rock either. They're all out to get rid of Rock. They want him out of there because he's a threat. And then, yeah, going in there, there's little Johnny. I love that Big Johnny hates Mickey because he plotted to kill them. I love it. You guys have the right idea. You shouldn't like Mickey. And then the Big Johnny, like, toys. Furious Big Johnny. So then this guy walks up, okay? This guy walks up with the dark hair and the glasses looking like Clark Kent, right? My thing is, okay, and he has the suit and tie on. He has a suit and tie on like the guys that Shang had pumped with fear that were inside the cavern. So, got the suit like the guys that were pumped with fear. He has the walk up from behind like the guy that Lucky Cyan saw, but that guy had white hair, I'm pretty sure. His hair is black, so what do we do about that? Meanwhile, E-Soul is like back at rank 9, and he is obsessed about that. And then Shang handles over this to Miss J, who has like her gear. Does he make everybody wear nice style wardrobe? Does he make everybody do that? Yeah, so there's all those guys. He made it to where Nice was battling them. He successfully defeated the dark forces. And there's Lin Ling. There's Lin Ling right there with his boss. You can see him working on the promo stuff. Oh my gosh, he's right there. Wow. Talk about interesting. Yeah. And then he says, oh yeah, so there's these guys with the gas mask. and we're getting back to the CGI. Oh my gosh, we're getting back to the present. Mm-hmm. That the CGI mixed in with the 2D animation is amazing. I am absolutely in love with that style. But yeah, what does it say about them? How do they twist that? The moment he like did the thing with the coin, I immediately thought of Lucky Cyan and the man that gave her the coin. I was like, is this X? And then as he's walking away, he snaps the fingers, which is exactly like what X did when he battled Queen and said, due to the ruins incident. Yes, and then there's X on the thing there. There's X with the glasses, all of that. Oh my gosh. Okay, what's the thing with the Queen though? It says X and O. Like, who is she? What is all that about? Why is there an O? I need to know. Yeah, I need to know why. And then you can see Isol on the thing there. You see X. Live broadcast X. There's Lucky Cyan on the guitar. You see that? Uh-huh. The first hero to hold the title for 3 consecutive terms. Uh-huh. And then there's him with the white suit. Drinking the special cola. Okay. The look there, like when he looks back. I'll pull that up aside. When he looks back, I mean, if you tilted the hair back, I'm like going to pull this up. If you tilted the hair back and you didn't have the goatee, it kind of looks like Nice. It kind of looks like Shang. It kind of does. I feel like the 2D has been so manipulative because it's 2D, you can't quite compare them exactly the same way. Whoa. But then he had black hair. Something's up. Something's up. I'm like, I don't know how Shang could be him as well. I don't know how that's possible. If it is. But and if he is Zero, so like, I had a theory that X was Shang, but now I'm like, but X could also be Zero, or they could all be the same person. I don't know how. But if he is Zero, by chance, then, yeah, it says 3 consecutive, number 1, and Rock's looking on there, then what did he do to get, like, what was he doing at this altar? What was going on? Tell me your secrets, show. And then he's asked if this guy is ready, and they show up, and I don't know who this is. He says, of course. But he's got all these symbols, everything. I'm so intrigued. I'm so intrigued. Y'all have no idea. Oh my gosh! So yeah, so everything. Okay, I do have a slight, little tiny, the tiniest of calamity corners. I mean, Isol continues to be Isol, but my tiniest little calamity is not like, we don't know Nice's backstory, so I don't want to assume anything about Nice because we don't know his backstory. I'm hoping that we find out soon. I hope we have like a little Johnny situation where we go back to Nice, get everything with him and Mr. Shang, because after this episode, I need to know more about that. I'm hoping that we get that. But my only calamity corner with Nice is that Lo Li is a hero with FOMO. And she battled Nice. She knows Nice was trying to kill them all. So maybe my assumption is that if she did say anything, then Shang and them would be like, no, he didn't. And it just gets left as that. And the public has so much great perception of Nice that it doesn't matter what she says. They're still going to support him no matter what. So if that's the case, sure. But I just wish we had seen like a flashback, or even, it didn't even have to have dialogue, like her trying to tell them about Nice and them just being like, no. Because I mean, like, that seems like the biggest red flag would be for Lo Li to be like, hey, this guy was fighting me and nearly got the professor and her killed. Seems kind of sketch. You might want to look into that, Hero Commission, because he was actively trying to hurt our party that was researching for you. Like, that part seems like, you know, the Hero Commission would probably want to know that Shang's top hero was trying to interfere. You would think that she would tell somebody that and they would relay and do some investigation into that, but I don't know. That feels like a plot hole to me, but I don't know. I don't know, especially because she's not, if she wasn't a hero and she just went back to being a civilian, I could see why they wouldn't take any stock in what she says, because she's not a hero. She doesn't matter to them. But she's a hero working for FOMO, so you would think that what she says would have some weight. And Queen literally saw Nice fighting her, so there was witnesses. You not only had, and like, what were Queen and Cyan talking about? Like, you not only had Queen witnessing Lo-Li fighting with Nice, but you also had Cyan there. Could those two women not talk with Lo-Li and figure out what she said and then do some research? Like, what, that just feels like, it feels like there's like a plot hole there. I don't know. It just is kind of a weird thing to just drop. Like, Nice was the most villainous he's ever been in the entire series in this episode, and nobody cared. I was like, okay, if that's the world building, then I guess. And I'm not blaming Little Johnny or Ghostblade because they weren't around for the fight, but Queen and Cyan and Lo-Li should have said something about Nice, and for all three of them to be ignored if they did, or for the three of them to not say a word, is kind of a plot hole. And I don't know what to do with that. But maybe we'll find out. End of Calamity Corner. Maybe we'll find out next week why all that is with Nice and go from there. I have so many questions about Nice and Zero, and about Rock and Shang, and I'm hoping that we have 21, 22, 23. We have 4 more episodes left. We have a month of To Be Hero X left, and I need answers, but I'm not sure if I want the answers. So I'm not sure I'm ready for the truth, y'all, but we'll see. So I'm sure you all were sitting on your hands and gnawing at your nails and being like, Romania, you're either so far away or you're so close. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching me. Thank you for watching this reaction and discussion. I hope you all have an amazing week. Please stay safe, take care, stay cool outside. And yeah, I will be back next week with episode 21 of To Be Hero X, and we'll find out more then. Bye.